nothing, even a scratch. I just loved it. And I was so excited that I'd come out and that I was feeling great. And I decided that I'm going to do this. At a stage, I felt, okay, shit, I get it. I get what they're talking about, that lung, the pressure. I had so much fluid on my lungs. I understood what they were talking about. I realized it's going to be up to me to get this out, to get these lungs strong. There were these little funny, I don't even know what it was called, like a little machine, not even a machine. It's got these balls, and you've got to blow them, and then you've got to suck them. And these balls barely moved. And I blow them, and then a little bump, and I suck them, and nothing happens. And I thought, crap, this is hard. You know, the basic blowing your nose that we do today, I couldn't even do that. I didn't have enough lung capacity. One of the side effects of chemo is my nose has 2 stages in the day, running or bleeding. I don't even have a problem with that, because you know what? I can blow my nose. I am so grateful for the simplest things. You can find beauty in everything. I find beauty in blowing my nose. That is how small my gratitude can go down to. That is how you can live your life every day. That is what stopping and smell the roses is. We don't even understand it. You need to go through sometimes an experience that helps you understand exactly how beautiful and what a gift this life is, and this universe, and this earth, and our children, and our relationships. Everything can be seen with the most magnificent beauty that it is. Anyway, the long and the short of it is, I decided, okay, I'm not going to get better in ICU, because in ICU you can't move. You're not allowed to get up unless you have a physiotherapist come to you to do your little walk for the day. I realized that I can only walk a few steps, and every time I walked a few steps, I was very cognizant of how far I'd gone, because I knew that I needed enough energy to get back. 5 steps away from my bed meant 5 steps back to my bed. 10 steps meant 20. I needed to work this out. I needed to be careful of what I was getting myself into. But I also realized I'm not going to be able to do that once a day. I'm not going to get better. I need to get out of ICU. You've got a catheter. I've got my colon on the outside. I don't even go to the toilet. I just lie there. I don't know how you get better in ICU. I've got to get out of here. I don't know how, but I convinced them to release me after 2.5 days being in ICU. I was home after a total of 6 days. I was fine. My head was fine. My body was getting there. I would get home and I would walk to the lounge to have a meal with my family, and that was my exercise for the day. That's how weak I was. Then when I picked up my plate, I could choose, do I put it in the kitchen or do I leave it here and go to my bed, because I couldn't do both. When I got home, I walked halfway up the stairs and I rested, and then I walked the other half up, and I carried on day in and day out, little bit, and I saw these little steps as magnificent milestones. I was so friggin' excited if I climbed a few more steps. Eventually I was walking my daughter to school. I've got my beautiful friend over there that came around to my house. She even dyed my hair for me. I was just trying to get back into normal living, doing a little bit of an anti-grey. We've got some friends over here. Just trying to get back to normal. And eventually I was walking my little girl up the road to school and back every day. And by 4 weeks, I was strong. And they said by 6 weeks, we're going to start chemo. And I decided, all right, I'm happy with this decision. I tried the natural. I'm going to try the chemo. I was quite fearful of it, and I was working through this fear the whole time. I needed to overcome it, but for some reason I knew that I had to do chemo. I knew that I had to be in that room. I don't know what exactly was waiting for me. I knew that I had to meet people. I knew that there were lives there that needed to hear my story, and I knew that there was people that I needed to meet, and I agreed to go to chemo. So on 6 weeks, on the dot, I started with my first chemo, and that was my particular kind. Every chemo is different. I didn't know this I found out. Every chemo is different. The colon cancer chemo is a string of these little bags that they pump through you. I had a port inserted over here. Not very attractive, but it's a beauty, let me tell you. Just to save your veins and to be able to move around, it's a gift. So they put this in here. You wear a little Emla patch so that you can not feel it when they push it in. It's not really that serious anyway. One day I forgot it and it wasn't too terrible. It's just like putting it's giving blood. Monday you go and give your bloods so that you can check what your counts are like, and you can check your tumor counts, what is coming down, what is going up, and where you are at. And then on a Tuesday, are you strong enough to have chemo? Obviously the first time, for away we go, they hooked me up. It's literally from 8 in the morning and it was till 5 that day. You sit there in this room, it's somber, it's down, it's really sad. Everybody you can see has a story, but they're not telling it. They're not talking to everybody. Everybody's cocooned. Everybody's looking down. Those who are losing their hair have a little beanie on. People are eating a little bit. They're just sitting in this. Shame, do the ladies want to come and have a seat? They are just sitting there. It's almost like accepting their fate. And they've all got their heads down. And I went in there. My hubby came with me the first time. We go every 2 weeks. So you have 1 week down, 1 week up, and so you live. So you take your week down and you just rest. You just don't really see anybody, you just rest. I heard about all these awful side effects that everybody's fearing, and I thought, I will not have those side effects. I started to talk to myself before week 6 arrived, and I decided, what do people never do? Because I am not getting the same side effects as everyone else. I'm going to do this differently. I decided to make friends with chemo. I gave it a face. I spoke to it. I said, thank you, chemo, for coming in and doing your job. Please do it well. Please leave my body straight after. Don't hurt my soft tissue. Get out. I will support you by giving you a lot of water. I will help you. Thank you for coming. And I would do this every Monday before my chemo. I made friends with it so that there was nothing to fear. And you know, chemo became my friend. I did not have the side effects of the other people. I have never, ever been nauseous. Not once. I never threw up. I used to get a slight bout of queasiness, which I liken to being pregnant. I'm sure you ladies who have children understand what that little queasiness was. So whenever you feel it, you just eat. Now, people with chemo don't eat. So I had an amazing little situation there. Every time I felt the queasiness, I ate. So I never lost weight. When I left hospital, I was weighing 39 kilograms. I was skin and bone. I've managed to pick up about 10 Ks. I'm on 48.3. I count the point whatevers. I will never, ever look at myself in the mirror again and say you're fat. I will never look at any part of my body ever again and say you're ugly. I used to always put a lot of attention on my hands, my hair. I not prided myself on it, but I appreciated those parts of me, and the parts that I didn't, I hid, and I didn't even look at them. Now, I rub my thighs. I love them. If I get a bit of fat, I get quite excited. It's different. I will never be fat again. I'm healthy. I don't care how big I get. I'm healthy. I'm beautiful. We had friends come over the other day, a gay couple actually, lesbian. They live in China. They came out for a while. You know, they came to my house. The one lady, we were chatting there and catching up, and she said, my friend, I'm going to tell you this once, and then we're not going to discuss it again. You look fucking hot. And I said, I don't know what came over me. It just bounced out my mouth. I said, I know, right? And then I was quite embarrassed at what I said. But I feel awesome. I feel beautiful. I feel like we should all feel. It's got nothing to do with your looks. And let me tell you, learning to love yourself when you have very little hair, when you don't have eyelashes, when you have a cut from here, meeting your cut at the bottom like a T-junction. I will be getting a cut over there. I have my stoma and a bag on the outside. To look at yourself and to know that you are beautiful when you look like that. That is true beauty, because then you see it. And when I look at myself, I think I am magnificent. I don't even see it. I actually have fun. There's an angel in our midst right here, Therese. She bought me this wig. She said to me, I just want you to feel beautiful. Those were the most magnificent words I'd heard. A gift from a stranger, a lady I had to meet, who will be in my life forever. Eyelashes. I decided, okay, let me go and find some eyelashes. So the first time I wore them, I put them on and they were it was, okay, I'm taking them off. Next time I tried, now I'm pretty good. Now I get funky eyelashes. My husband says, okay, we've got the big eyelashes on today. I'm like, yeah, okay. This morning I put them on and I said, okay, I feel a bit drag. And I just pulled them off and I put on the smaller ones. I'm just having fun. There's nothing vain about it. It's fun. It's fun. We are so beautiful. If you look past all of that, I'm losing. I'm not going back. I'm not being held to my key cards. I'm getting carried away. All right, so where were we? What I must say, and this is a biggie. When I got home and I was skin and bone and I stood in front of the mirror, I realized that I had done this. And I started crying. And I made myself a promise in the mirror. And I said, I will never do this to you again. I'm so sorry. I will never, ever treat you like this again. And I never will. I keep true to that promise. I remind myself of that promise I made every day, in all the tiny decisions, in what I put in my mouth, I don't follow the same protocol that I did anymore, the raw, the natural, the no sugar, because I realized that that's just in the physical. There's a couple of things that you need to be mindful of. There's a couple of things that you can look at and you can have common sense about. Now, I know common sense is something that is not so common. And I know mindfulness is this hell of a buzzword, but sincerely, if you just think about a couple of things and the way you do it, I'll never eat pizza again in my life. It's not because people say it's a bad thing, because people say there's gluten. It's got nothing to do with that. Just me personally, that compacting, that doughy, it's like clay in my colon. Just me personally, I won't ever eat it. I don't eat white bread. It's not for me. I'll eat seedy bread. I won't go on this gluten, anti-gluten freak out craze. I don't have fear of food. I love chocolate, but I won't eat a slab. I'll eat a piece or two of my favorite chocolate, decadent chocolate. I'll spend the money and get any damn chocolate I want. It'll be the best chocolate. And then I will be smart and I might chase it with a nachi and a glass of water. You have whatever you want. You be smart about it. I eat meat. I love meat. I'm not giving it up. It makes me weak if I just live on leaves. I can't do it. I don't care if it's not going to make me fat, because I'm going to eat in moderation. I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to understand when I'm full. I'm not going to be gluttonous. It's just mindful. You don't want to be heavy. It doesn't make sense. It's not kind to your body. As I say, I'm going on. So what I decided was I adopted a holistic approach. Holistic, we like to think of, is natural. Holistic is not. Holistic is the whole. That means there's a place for medical intervention. If I didn't trust them, I wouldn't be here today. We worked miracles in January. If I didn't trust my quantum physician, I made friends with him, introduced to him by a gorgeous friend. He's been the voice in my head more than he will even know. He's taught me how to use my mind. He's taught me how to speak to myself. He's taught me ancient Sumerian language, which carries unbelievable power. He's like having... I would love to sit and have a glass of wine with this guy. I mean, he's just amazing. That was when I was choosing the natural approach. The people I've met massages, lymphatic drainage, healing massages, light therapy, you name it, the whole. Have a little bit of everything. That is life. That is what we are here for. You don't exclude anything. We are here for the peanut butter. That is why we're here on earth. Experience it, have it, enjoy it all. Because what is living if we've got all these rules and all these fears and all these I can'ts and I have to's? It's horrible. There's no joy in it. There's no authenticity in it. Where do you find who you are because you've been told what to do? All right, let me slow down. Today, I find myself in the beautiful position of knowing that last week was my last chemo, number 12. I have a small operation in the future and then I'm cancer-free. So that comes from being told that I would be terminal. So it is a magnificent victory for me. Nobody said that that would be possible. I never, ever pulled it in and believed it. I don't know if I was living in cuckoo land. I don't care. I don't care. It worked. It worked for me. I've started to play since with a couple of those things. But first, I want to just try and pull myself back to my key cards and stick to a little bit of what I wanted to know. And I think it's important to think about a couple of things. Why I got cancer. I needed to understand it. I had a lot of time. That's one thing that I did do. Besides being in hospital, besides healing from the operation, every chemo, my down week, I would have so much time to think, to experiment with ideas and what if this and what if that, and to understand where I am and where I came from. And what I found, why I got cancer, I had a lack of flow. Now that sounds very spiritual. And that sounds a little bit airy-fairy, but it's very practical and it pertains to your earthly body, to your physical body. Flow is very simple. Flow is enough in, enough out. How much do you take in? How regularly do you eat? What do you eat? How much do you eat? How much do you let out? You know, I'm the kind of person, I like to do things quickly. So I would go to the loo, and if nothing was taking place within about 2 or 3 minutes, I'd like, I don't have time for this shit, literally. And I would be on to the next thing. Then later, if I found, I'm speaking honestly, we can. And then later, if I found I needed to go to the loo, but I was busy with something, I just didn't have time. I had to put it off. I mean, it's as simple as that. There wasn't flow. That caused little polyps to grow, which I didn't know about. And when I found out at stage 4, that I had colon cancer, they said that it had been with me for 10 to 12 years. Isn't that frightening? It's not, I say frightening, it's not to be feared. We need to be aware of flow. It's so important. Flow is how much water do we take in? Not craze, funky, get a nice bottle, be cool, take water. Genuine. How much water are you getting in? According to your weight, according to what you're taking in. If you've got a cold, your nose is running, you are dehydrating. If you are slightly weak and tired, start first with water. We are dehydrated. We are generally dehydrated on a daily basis, most people, most of us. We first will take uppers, effervescence or Red Bull before we take water. It's more chemicals. It's nonsense. Just water. Have a look at what you eat. It doesn't matter what you eat. How you go about it is what counts. You can have a little bit of absolute